So welcome everyone, good morning. So here we are again starting our Medium's book study. Today, as we know, we will start the item 23. We have stopped in this part that was highlighted last week. Remind you all that this is not a lecture. It does not mean to be a lecture. It is a study. So please to use this opportunity to the best of our abilities. Please participate, ask questions, make comments, help me out, basically.
Guilherme?
Hi, Charles.
Hi, Guilherme. I think we cannot see your screen yet.
Oh dear, just a minute. Why not? Is it working now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Because I'm using two screens, and then I think that's what I mixed up here. So, as not to fail to mention it, we will point out a fourth category that may be called self-interested or bad faith disbelievers. That terminology he's using already is very interesting, isn't it? How can you be a bad faith disbeliever? You believe or you don't believe, right? In the middle is kind of complicated. They know very well that to think about Spiritism, but they openly condemn it for personal interest reasons. This will open a can of worms, if you can say like that, because if we are a true Spiritist, we should not have any interest whatsoever. If we believe in what the Spiritism is saying, if we sympathize at least, we should not have any personal interest either. And that is something that I think stays until today, because over the years, speaking to people with different creed, yeah, I believe that, I'm very into it, but you know, I can't because of other things that I will not mention here. But somewhere along the line, we need to make a call to what we want to be, right? We have nothing to say about them, nor anything to do with them. This is massive from Kardec. I don't want to get closer to them. I don't want to participate. I don't want to argue. I simply want to have myself with a certain distance to this type of thing. We have nothing to say about them, anything to do with them. That's very interesting. If radicals materialists are in the wrong, they at least have good faith as an excuse. We can correct them by showing them the error. But when I was reading here, something came to my mind, right? Good faith, goodwill. In my perception, faith has to follow reason. What is faith? Believe in something. But to believe in something, we need to put our reason to work. We have to spend some time, study the matter, practice to a certain extent, and then we can, yes, I know, I believe, or that's my faith. Not doing so will be only partial faith, in my opinion, or at least not with the reason. And we see over the centuries a lot of faith that as science progressed, it's hard to keep them. How is that? Because they were faith, a blind faith, and Spiritism does not want any blind faith at all. Spiritism wants, Kardec wants us to analyze everything, making questions, inquiries, test, practice. And as he himself said, and if something comes to add what is already written on the doctrine, so be it. But never of blind faith. And but with this last group, there is a bias that turns all arguments to dust. Time will take care of opening their eyes and will show them where their true interest lies. Perhaps at their own cost, because being unable to hinder the expansion of the truth, they will be swept along by the current together with the interests they had sought to safeguard. This is a bit in line with what I just said, right? As things progress and we start to have difficulties to endorse what we believe in light of science, in light of the progress, because things do progress and will make us find things to contradict our beliefs, right? It's fair that 10 centuries ago was very hard to talk about where we came from. Today, it's a bit more difficult because we have science, archaeologists find things that some beliefs are really in a checkmate. So we have to keep our mind open. In addition to the...
Just an additional comment. I think it's also a good learning we get from Kardec, not to lose time with people who are of ill will or bad faith, who are not honest, who are not fair, because he writes it, only the time and God can open the eyes. So don't lose time with them, just proceed and leave them with the necessary time to change their mind and to come back to a better disposition to learn something. Huh?
And Charles, this is not only within the Spiritism. I think this is everything in our lives. What's the point to argue? What's the point to waste time? Instead of arguing about some topics, use this time to do something productive. If you're talking about Spiritism, why I'm going to be asking someone or to join me or to talk about a subject? Even among the Spiritists, there are so many subjects, like animism, like any other subject. The Spiritists, they don't come together to arrive to a single point. So when I see arguments, when I see things like that, so be it. I spend time studying. I believe what I learned suffice me. So that's it, you know. We need to keep that flexibility to progress, in my opinion. Of course, always referring to a healthy discussion, always referring to what is there, to other people's perception, because other people's perception may complete our own, but never stop because of it, never wasting time arguing with that.
You cannot help the one who don't want to be helped. If you try to help, you even contradict them and make them more angry. So,
yeah. Sean, I love this subject because I kind of try to interpret things in a different way than the majority. For example, the other day I was having a conversation about sex of the spirits. Do they have sex? Male and female? And that opened a can of worms. A lot of people say, but that's written like that. Yes, it's written like that. But you are giving your own interpretation to what is there. If you start to consider point A, B, C, D, can you say exactly the same you just said to me? Well, but that's a bit different. Yeah, that's the beauty. We open up the same sentence to different possibilities. And in the end, we all may agree that what the first person said is all right, but at least to exercise that freedom of thought. Because I think Kardec never wants us to be formatted. He wants us to think. He wants us to learn how to use reason. And that's why I said to all of you, please, let's make questions. Let's open up discussions, because I may be very wrong. And then talking to you guys, you have a different perception that will help me out to find a different way out, you know? So I think that's something even missing on the Spiritism nowadays.
Gil, can I just make a comment? It's Christine here.
Hi, Christine.
I'm still having trouble with putting my hand up.
Today I cannot even see you because I'm using a different screen, so I cannot even see you. Yeah, do the right thing. Talk.
I was trying to have a discussion with some family members, and one of my nephews started laughing, and I said, "What's so funny?" And as Charles was saying, and yourself, you can't always sort of have people that believe your beliefs. He just started asking, and actually he was badgering me to try and say what Spiritism was all about in 2 minutes. And I just thought, this is going to cause me no end of grief. I believe what I believe, or I know what I know, and I'm not going to waste my breath, time and energy with this discussion. So I ended it. Yet the other day I was talking with a friend's son whose mother had passed away, and he is so excited about learning more about it. He asked me if I came across anything, any movies, and I referred him to the Alan Kardec movie. I said, if you really want to understand what I'm looking at, what I'm attending, what I'm getting more knowledge about, I said, have a look at the Alan Kardec movie. So I haven't spoken to him since, but I believe that he'll have a look at that movie and he'll have more questions for me. So I'll have more questions for you guys.
Mm-hmm. I think you gave a brilliant example, right? You haven't entertained a frivolous conversation about this. You basically felt that he was more like having a go to have a joke with you about the subject, and you did not entertain. So that was very good. In the other hand, the person that was really in need to find a different level of information, you share what you know. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's the way it's supposed to be. Because on the end of the day, we will find many people that do not believe in what we believe, and they just want to have a go with us, to have fun, right? And I'll give another example, Christine. One person that I know for many years, because we studied together, his family was very Catholic, or at least they used to go to the Mass once a week. But that does not mean you're doing charity. Perhaps it's just something you do mechanically. I don't know, I cannot evaluate that. But his family was having a problem with this colleague of mine, and I identified that he was having some spiritual problems. I approached one of his cousins that were more like had our age, and we knew each other, and the response was really not positive. Sometimes even when we try to help people, we are pushed back. And that's fine. And that's very fine. The important thing is you did what your heart told you to do. When I sent the message to try to help, I knew the outcome could be something like that. But I only thought about it. I have no proof of it. So I made a decision. I will not keep that for myself. I will try to do what I'm used to. If the person wants to be helped, fine. If they won't, fine as well. But I did my part, so I'm okay with myself, you know. So yeah, you will cross many examples like that in our path. Good stuff. Thank you. In addition to these overall categories of opponents, there are many nuances among which may be counted. That word he used here, opponents, is something very hard, but is also true. We find opponents. Why we find opponents? Because we are evolving. But I truly believe that one day down the line, we won't have Spiritism anymore. We won't have Catholicism anymore. We don't have anything anymore. Because at that moment in history, we then we'll find exactly what Jesus is expecting from us. One day, we all will practice love. And then we don't need any other name. We don't need to go into this argument about you're right, you're wrong, or my religion is good, your philosophy is not good, or whatever. One day, we all will be sharing the same point of view. We're still far away from that, but I'm convinced that one day, everything we know as it is today will be called only by one name. And then doesn't matter if you had a little bit variance of belief to the left or to the right, but at that time you will embrace what Jesus tried to teach us. That was love. Today we have so many people arguing about this is right, this is wrong, my philosophy is better than yours, I don't accept yours, I don't accept your religion. But one day that will be over. Hopefully we are not too far away from that. Among which will be counted disbelievers or out of cowardice who will find courage when they see that others have not been harmed by Spiritism. Fair enough. Disbelievers out of religions couples whom an enlightened study will teach that Spiritism is supported by the very fundamentals of religion itself, that it respects all belief system, and that some of its effects are the awakening of the religious sentiment in those who do not already have them. And there is strengthening of them in those who are irresolute. Additionally, there are disbelievers out of pride, out of a contrary spirit, negligence, frivolousness, etc.
Interesting. Huh?
It is. It is very interesting.
I think the first category which is listed, we see a lot of people that you know that the spirits are surviving after death. Oh, no, I don't want to hear about my father or my mother or whatever because they had some difficulties or troubles, and they are just willing to escape from any type of responsibility. I know quite some of those.
Yeah, I was reading and thinking, very interesting, this sentence. One thing got my attention, one word, awakening. That's what we all are trying to find, not only in Spiritism, everywhere. We are trying to find, and it's happening from time to time. My personal opinion is that Spiritism, the way its structure is, give us more confidence to the awakening. But it may happen elsewhere as well. So, awakening. That's the very, very important thing, I believe. And Spiritism is not against anything. Spiritism can be used by any religion, by any philosophy, because we are talking about things that are natural. Regardless of what you are, if you are a Spiritist, if you are a Catholicist, if you are a Protestant, doesn't matter. You are a spirit. And when the time has come and you die, you'll be facing the same phenomena as we will. So there's no difference. There's no difference. Just someone that feel more comfortable here or there, but there's no difference. We have.
Can I just say?
Sure.
Sorry. Can you just go back, scroll back up? Yeah. We've talked about that Spiritism is not a religion, but it says there, and if we showed someone that was an opponent or a disbeliever, they would say something like, aha. Mm-hmm. Spiritism is supported by the very fundamentals of religion itself, and take that out of context and say it's a religion, therefore. And I can see that as a point of argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see your point.
And
if you ask me, Christine, is Spiritism a religion? My answer will be, depends who you ask. Because we have a structure, we have our principles, we bring people together, we practice it, we try to embrace as far as we can what is in the philosophy. We teach them, we make lectures, we make studies. So it's up to you to decide if you think like it is a religion or not. Understand the word religion is a good start. Kardec says that it's not a religion. But even when they said it's not a religion, when I read, I still think, there's a lot of religion here. But he says it's not a religion. So on the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you think it's a religion or not. Just practice the good things you find in this religion or this philosophy. This is the most important. Remember that when Kardec brought that knowledge together, if he had in his time a banner, I have a new religion, he would be in trouble more than he was, right? And he had so many opponents saying that was not a religion. Imagine if he come in front of a church, I have a new religion, join me. Wouldn't work either. So this is not really important. If someone wants to argue, what is your understanding about religion? What is the meaning of the word religion? As far as I know, religion means religare. That means reconnect. And that's what we are doing here. That people that have their own religions, as they call, in so many different things, not even religious, but they believe that's a religion because they cannot miss. They are so interconnected with them. So, in my opinion, a personal opinion, we are just playing words. This is not important. But I see your point. People may try to use that to find a point to have a fight. But we only fight if both parties want to fight. I hope I had answered.
Guilherme, maybe I just can complement a little bit what you said. The problem of the word religion is that it means what you just told, to religare, to link one to the other and with God. But the majority of the people, at least here in Europe, do not understand the word religion as this. They understand the word religion as a superstition, as dogmatic approach. They understand it as being the source of millions of dead people, the Inquisitions, religious wars, and all this arrogant attitude of the religious leaders. So they have a very profound negative perception of the world, and even people of goodwill. And this is exactly the problem. When we use this word religion, I think in Australia, it's the same as we have here in France or in UK or wherever. It awakens negative sentiments to majority of person, in particular the person which are open to Spiritist teachings. because the people who have a positive image of religion, generally they are already following a religion, and in that religion, whether it's Catholic or Protestant or whatever, what do they hear? No, Spiritism is thing of the evil. So it's also not the easiest people to start with. And when Kardec is exactly saying that the target people are the one that you need to make, not the one who have a faith and are satisfied with this faith, but the one who are not satisfied with the faith and are looking for something which combines faith with reason. So these target people are not the one who have a positive understanding of the word religion. So clearly, qualifying Spiritism as a religion is counterproductive in most of the countries, particularly here in Europe. Now, Kardec is here, of course. I understand the question of Christine. What he said, he does not write that the Spiritism is a religion, but the Spiritism is taking the best out of the religion. Okay, he's let me see how it's written in English. It is supported by the very fundamentals of the religion itself. So you need to go to the origin, to the source of the religions, and take the good things out of it. And Spiritism is, of course, taking the best of these good things. And when he speaks, for instance, awakening the religious sentiments. It's not the word religion, it's adjective religious. We could maybe change the word into moral sentiments instead of religious sentiments. So again, it's not written here that Spiritism is a religion, because what is the worst thing in Spiritism is you have some leaders who are claiming that Spiritism is a religion, but who also, unfortunately, are behaving as if they would be religious leaders. They are claiming being charged by angel X, Y, or Y to save the world through the gospel, and they are behaving, seeking hegemony. No, everything has to be under this angel and our control or leadership, and so on. And this is exactly the opposite of what Kardec is writing here. Spiritism is respecting all the faiths and all the beliefs, and should not be presented as a religion. So, Christine, of course, some people can argument, but you can answer them. If you look carefully to it, Kardec does not write that Spiritism is a religion. It's just awakening religious or moral sentiments, and that's taking the best out of the religion, but removing all the negative things, which are the dogmas, this sacerdotal hierarchy, the Vatican, or look, for instance, today. I don't want to condemn anyone, but the position of the Russian Orthodox Church is maybe not the best one in front of the events which are happening today. The same happened with the Vatican in 1914 and so on. So the religion, as it is traditionally and badly understood by the majority of the people, is really not helping a lot to solve the difficulties the humanity is facing today. While Spiritism does not bind itself to this type of politics.
We have two hands raised. Cleo, go on.
Thank you. First, I want to say that Charles explained very well, and I totally agree what he said. And a lot of people has this kind of question. When I listen Divaldo Franco talking, he always mentioned good things from all different religions. And that make me believe that Spiritism is open. They embrace all religion, but like Charles said, they take the best of every single one. And when I listened to Divaldo Franco, he always mentioned all good things from different religions. And everybody is welcome on the Spiritism. Another point that I want to make is my 8-year-old daughter, I never baptized her. And she said to me, "Mommy, I want to be baptized." And I explained to her about baptism and Spiritism. And I said, if you really want, we can. So I tried to baptize her in Brazil, but because we don't go to the church in Brazil, then she couldn't be baptized on the Catholic Church. And there was another church that was very welcome and was very friendly and helped for her to be baptized last week with her brother as well. And so I made a point to her to say that for us who believe in Spiritism, doesn't matter which religion. What matters is the knowledge about Jesus Christ and believe that we have only one God and do the good thing. That's all.
Very nice, Cleo. There is no problem being baptized or not. There's no problem embrace any other beliefs or not. The problem lies in the human being. I've seen on mediumship meetings people that were not accepting presence of spirits that are from Umbanda. They were not prepared to accept the spirits that they come saying they were priests, things like that. The problem lies in a human being. And I take on board history problems that we have in every continent. I take on board all sort of geographic specific characteristics. But on the end of the day, the problem lies on the human being. Because as you rightly said, you were not accepted with your kids in a church and you were accepted in another one. What is the difference between one and another? The human being, right? So it will be always like that. Human beings will always play a massive impact in everything we do and everything that we believe. For example, if we are open with our hearts to accept things with our heart, we will approach more people to what we believe. But if we start to create rules, and a lot of people try to create rules, and even on the Spiritism, what we do, instead of bring them closer, we are pushing them out. And I've seen that over the years, many times. People know you cannot do that here. Why? It's written in Kardec. Is there? No, well, you know, well, and then you start discussions that it's not the point. So human being is the key. If we get better people, everything will be easier for us. And I have another hand raised. Paul, P-O-L.
Yes, that's me. I think it's the first. I speak here. I'm from Cardiff. I normally meet with Liz. So I just want to actually clear touch some of the things I want to talk about, but there was one thing. It's more like food for thought, really, about this kind of. There's no point in arguing with other religions because at the end of the day, pretty much what Cleo said that there's one God, and it's more about doing good rather than bad, etc. But what if there is a current or upcoming greater philosophy, more advanced, basically brought by more pure spirits than the ones that helped Kardec at first place? Because this was written like 200 years ago in a different era, because actually now Earth is going through a regeneration phase. So the way Earth was is different than the way Earth is going to be moving forward. There was more pain before. There was more, it was more about redeeming your sins. Whereas moving forward, we're just kind of moving away from that. So I just want to know what kind of your thoughts on this. It's mostly for because the main point of Spiritism is being more like open-minded, like things are not the way they are. You have to kind of test and see the phenomenons and see whether they are true or not. So maybe, it's more like, I kind of be running in circles, but that's the main thing, basically.
I will tell you something. I'm counting on it. I'm waiting for that moment. Because Kardec told us that will happen. And he left an open doors to that future, telling us to embrace things, not like because we like. No, we have to analyze, we have to compare, we have to compare with science. And then if something comes with more information, we need to embrace it. Not embrace anything like we just want to do it and that's it. No, we need to do some research. We need to investigate. If possible, let's try to prove with science. And then we are open to that. Because if you have a chance, I don't remember which chapter, I think it's chapter 8, but on the Genesis, is written there, Spiritism is a progressive philosophy. So that means if something else comes to complete what we know, and he was even more specific, he said, if anything comes to prove that we are wrong, we should embrace it. Otherwise, we are another religion or philosophy casting in stone 2,000 years ago that science is proving eventually that we are wrong. And that's not what we want. We want to evolve. Hi, Munir.
Hello, Guilherme. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to add that I see my personal view is that Kardec, what he shows us is that Spiritism first is a science because we study using scientific methods to study spirit phenomena. And by doing that, we understand it just like in any science. We start to understand the reality of the spirit world, the interaction that exists between the two worlds. And then comes the philosophy. And then we ask ourselves, what does it mean? Because I'm at the very center of all this. It's not something apart from me. I'm there at the very center. So, it means something to me. And then the philosophical aspect of the doctrine comes into context. But then we have the religious aspect, which is one of the aspects of the Spiritist doctrine. How do I improve myself? If one day I'll become an enlightened spirit, how can I get there? Developing myself in moral terms. And how can I do that? And then Kardec shows us that the golden rules are in the gospel. But then it's not just in the gospel, because there are many other religions that in moral terms are very similar to what Jesus taught us. And it's also a way to improve in moral terms and develop ourselves in spiritual terms. Then I see that the Spiritist doctrine has one religious aspect because it encourages people to reestablish this connection with the Creator, explaining everything and saying the importance of our moral improvement. But there's someone on the other side of the globe who is not Christian, who perhaps never heard of Jesus. I find it very hard to accept that, but maybe there is someone who follows a different religion or no religion whatsoever, but practices moral development through the knowledge, through the perception this person has of life. And is this person evolving less than someone who says, I follow this religion or that religion? I think what counts at the end of the day is actually how much effort we put in order to morally progress. This is what is going to count for us. And I think when Kardec says that Spiritism is here to help other religions as well, because people will feel the reason to be engaged to that religion. Oh, I prefer this one. So what am I going to get from that religion? My moral improvement. If you're not getting there, it's not Spiritism, Catholicism, or any other religion that is going to help you in that way. We have to truly practice that. And what Kardec says is, choose one, but be a true religious person, and not someone who, says you are something and you do something, completely different.
Munir, when you were talking,
Thank you,
something came to my mind. Which is the best religion? Do not answer yet.
I won't.
Which was Jesus' religion? What do you think?
Yes, he came. Yeah, he came, and he followed strictly what the Jewish religion at the time said, but he gave the right interpretation for the prophets, and he summed up everything, all the laws and all the prophets, and love God above all things, and your neighbor as yourself. There's no temple, there's no ritual, there's nothing. Just love God above all things, and your neighbor as yourself. In my view, if you do that, that's enough. You are already on the right path.
My perception.
Guilherme,
Yes.
Guilherme,
Oi.
no The Spirit's Book, chapter 1, item 5. It was the first mention that I saw about the religion and spiritism. And if you can read, I put in the chat here, chapter, you can read the last message, because it's really important. Or someone can read.
Let me open it just a minute.
It's difficult for you, but I think Munir or Charles can read.
The Spirit Book, question 19.
No, the chapter 1, the last one. All of them are good, but the last one.
But this is the last one.
Oh my God, why is that going?
Okay,
Sorry.
now I got it. Okay, chapter 1, 5. Spiritism is the new science that has come to reveal to humanity by means of irrefutable proofs the existence and nature of the spiritual world and its relationship with the physical world. It appears not as something supernatural, but on the contrary, as one of the living and incessantly active forces of nature, as the source of an immense number of phenomena which still today are not fully understood. And because of this, they are relegated to the world of fantasy and miracles. Christ alluded to this situation on several occasions, and it is the reason why much of what he said remain unintelligible or has been wrongly interpreted. Spiritism offers the key by which all can easily be explained. Yeah. My take on that is that it does not clarify if it's a religion or not. It's not a very important point, but does not clarify that. Me personally, I love science. So that sentence to me is superb, but does not clarify the subject of religion or not religion. Myself, I was raised as a Spiritism as a religion. And I don't care what people think, if it's a religion or not. What really is important is the outcome. What you do, what you believe. Who is producing better people? Who is producing better results? I don't know. I don't even pretend to know. It's the same like for the question I did to Munir, which religion is the best? I don't truly know. The best one is the one who they make better people. The best one is the one who make you feel better. And in my own opinion, Jesus was born in a Jewish environment, but he was not Jewish because he brought something completely different. He haven't broken the law. He said, I never came to not obey the law. But he brought something completely different. He never said, let's raise a church. He never said that. Human beings did. Like in Spiritism. We have 100 Spiritists, top of the class, let's say. Everyone have its own perception for some points. And at the end of the day, what is important? None of that. It's the outcome. If you want to compare which philosophy inside the philosophy is better, tell me which one is producing better fruits, which one is producing better results. Because I see a lot of people advocating for some points but just blah, blah, blah. They do not work. They do not produce anything. Sometimes they even produce more arguments than Kardec is against it. So on the end of the day, doesn't matter. The name, what is important is the result. If what you believe, if what you feel more comfortable is bringing a better result, is raising you to a different level, a different level is not adequate, but is raising you to a different level of awareness, that's the awaken that was written here. You are awakening for what? For the light, for the love. And until someone proved to me that Jesus had a religion and Jesus incited someone to create a religion or a philosophy, I stick to Jesus's love. His religion was love. What he asked from us was love. And when we are wasting time arguing about this word, this philosophy, this religion, we are not practicing what he told us to do. That was love. And we see that a lot between philosophies, between philosophy and religion, between religions. And that's not the goal. The time we spent arguing about that, we could help someone. The time I spend not accepting spirits from different terminology in my spiritual meeting, I could be helping this spirit. When I saw myself, spiritist institution centers, only for spiritists. And I saw spiritist centers open to anyone that was in pain, physical and spiritual pain. Which one is following Kardec? Which one is following Jesus' teachings? I think it's the option number 2. Or at least I will not be part of the institution number 1, because I don't think that is the goal. But I have a raised hand. Okay, thank you. I'm talking too much. Who is that? Hi, Ebony.
Hi, I just wanted to summarize really quickly what you said and, you know, how it affects me. I actually believe, as you do, that, you know, love is the only religion that Jesus came to institute. Love is my religion. When someone asks me what is my religion, I simply tell them love. And I say to them that Spiritism teaches me and helps me to understand how to practice love. As simple as that.
Really good. Really good. Wonderful. Really good. Yeah. Any other comment? Everyone's quiet now. Another hand. Hi, Yasmin.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Just I've heard a lot of from a few weeks people trying to say I try to convince people about spiritism, existence, and spirits, and so on, and I think mostly Kardec. I remember these words. I love them, and he said, "Spiritism is taught by example," and it. As you said, Guillaume, a lot of times it's not worth it to spend time trying to convince people. It's just we just need to act, and it will open. Maybe it might open people's eyes, because it's just not like, oh, there are spirits, you know, there are spirits around you. You don't know it, but there are. No, you will show them. You will show them. They will have no other way to say no, it's not possible, because when you go to the streets to give food to people, or when you take a hand, when you dry some namida, gomenasai, Nihongo, sorry, Japanese, tears, when you dry people tears, you will just be the proof of everything. And yeah, so Spiritism is taught by example. Those are my favorite words from everywhere. And I remember also, I don't remember who is it from, maybe André Louis, who said about a woman who was saying, oh, my spirit, my husband, he's a very good husband. He's very nice. He's nice. He works well. He's good with me, but he's not spirit. He doesn't believe in spirit. He is Catholic. And I don't remember who told her, it's better to have a good Catholic that's a bad spiritist. And yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Very,
I will finish with that. Thank you very much for listening, everyone.
Very good example. Very good example. Yeah. I think I mentioned here, I could not even convince my daughter. And I can tell you, she used to see things in my home, things moving, things happening, spirits talking, and she believes in spirits, but she wants to be far away as possible of them. So one day, eventually, and by the way, she's medium, even more complicated. So one day, eventually, she may change her opinion, but it's not down to me. I never push her to do anything. And to use that as another example, I was about to leave my home to get a car to go to the center, Spiritist center. She came to me, Dad, may I ask you something? I said, yes. Can you drive me to the Catholic Church? I said, of course we can. And she was surprised because she thought I wouldn't do it. I said, no, okay, I will drive you over there. I just need to know the time you end this meeting or whatever, and I'll come to pick you up. And she was totally surprised. So we need to be open. We need to be open to everything. Cleo, your hand is raised. Do you want to talk anything? Or that was from the previous time?
Sorry, it was from previous.
Okay, all right then.
Thank you.
I love the way this study is going on today. I love that, you know, talking here, talking there. That's the beauty. That's what we are looking for. Because when we do things like that, perhaps we will awake something. Let's not forget a category that we shall call disbelievers, out of deception. What time is it? I lost the time. I'll start here, then we continue next week. It includes those who have gone from being exaggeratedly confident to disbelief because they have suffered deception. And then I'll stop here. If I had decided to live Spiritism on the first deception I had, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here today. Simple as that. And sometimes it starts with a conversation like we are having here today. And something that Charles said that I really, really loved, that hierarchy, that is structure like other religions, sometimes even trying to be replicated inside the Spiritism, like the Vatican thing. I'm totally against it, totally against it. We have to keep the freedom of thought. We have to keep the freedom of analyze what has been brought by Kardec to us. Fair enough. My first experience in the Spiritism, someone will teach me what is there. But after, it's my duty to study by myself, to analyze what is there. Because this person he or she was very kind, teaching the people, doing a lecture or whatever, may have a misinterpretation or have decided to interpret the Spiritism as he or she wanted to be. So the first encounter is very nice. But then it's our duty to go to the book, practice our own interpretation, making questions. And quite often you won't find the answer in only one book. You need to go to book A, to book B, to book C. Kardec, for example, had main 5 books. Sometimes you to come up with a conception or a better idea, you need to move from the Spiritist book to the Gospel, to the Medium's book, to the Genesis, come back. So it's not something that you do in like a minute or two. And Kardec said, as you saw here in the introduction of the book, we need to study seriously the matter if you want to progress with the matter. So don't be shy if you had a deception in the Spiritism and decide to quit. Deception is part of our life, right? Thus, being disheartened, oh dear, some words are not easy to me. They have abandoned and reject everything. They are like those who deny Spiritism in good faith because they feel they have been misled. One thing that came to my mind here, not in UK, but in Brazil, we probably have 1,000 different books nowadays we can buy on the internet or on the libraries about Spiritism, maybe even more. And I always use Kardec as a reference. Reference number 1, Kardec. Reference number 2, a serious study or a serious book from a well-known medium and a well-known spirit comparing to Kardec. And Francisco Xavier mentor, Emmanuel, said, if you find anything in what we produce that go against Kardec, forget what I said, forget what is there, and go to Kardec. If he said that, who am I to do anything different? Right? So this is my path on the Spiritism. Kardec, reliable mediums with reliable spirits, bringing us knowledge, referring to Kardec. And then we have a third class of people that are very serious, study a lot, and produce books as well. But some of them, they missed the factor of the spirits. So that's why it's always important to work with the spirits, because my interpretation as incarnated spirits may not be totally correct. I may not be totally wrong, but I may not be totally correct. So the best way to avoid misinterpretation, in my opinion, is that path. And so far, it pleased me the way it did for me. Perhaps it will not work for you, but it did work for me. What time is it? Oh dear, 11:30. I'm talking too much today. Today was wonderful. Everyone talking. Everyone, well, honestly, thank you very much, you all. It was by far the best encounter we have, in my opinion.